We're the good news panel. Of course, it all depends, I guess, on how you define good news. Perhaps in view of the context of the marketplace currently, just merely being alive and making the month is a piece of good news. But I think the gentlemen to my left and right have got better and more interesting, more substantive good news to give you about surviving and doing better than surviving in what are perhaps some of the toughest market conditions we've had in at least a decade. So because I want them to concentrate on the good news, and unbeknownst to them, Fiona and I have spiked their drinks so they'd be full of glee despite the reality check waiting for them in the office. I think I will take on the task of briefly summarizing, and forgive me for the rather remedial quality of this, what is difficult at the moment about the market in which they all have to carve a path. So that we get that behind us, and then we can concentrate on, I suppose, the success stories that they have to tell us, the business philosophies that underpin their successes, and how they're looking forward to the future. In your case, I think, Peter, raising sheep farming in the Cevennes Mountains, you told me. Yeah, that's right. So I think, allow me the indulgence of this brief inventory. I think I heard Ben, the great Gandalf of market predictions, Ben Keane, this morning, saying that interpreting his last Twin Tower graphs at the end, I think there was something like 400 million to 500 million disappearing from UK film revenues over the past 5 years. If this trend is repeated elsewhere in major markets that currently are participants in the pre-selling, pre-acquisition of Anglo-American films, this is definitely something to reflect upon. As you know, currently the pre-sales market that these guys are to a large degree involved with in packaging their movies is a shadow of its former self. Gap finance has become as rare as water in the Kalahari. 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, was it? A guy like Chartrier at Voltage Pictures could get Super Gap on Kathy Bigelow's movie, The Hurt Locker. I think 45% pre-sold and 55% bank loan. This is a kind of package that you can sort of only dream of in the current market with a small film with no known stars. You have some territories that seem to have converted into antimatter, Japan being the case in point, perhaps a case of generational change there with a rising generation of potential cinema viewers who are indifferent to foreign, indifferent to dubbing, indifferent to subtitling and so on. You have the abiding difficulty of penetrating the American market, which has become more severe with the narrowing of competitive dynamics due to, in part, to the shrinking of the studios, Hollywood studios, classics and specialty divisions, so that it's now a more formidable challenge than ever to enter the US market, unless, and even if you are sitting on a very fat P&A fund to try and sweeten your way into it. You have, we were told this morning, happy clappy, that theatrical is going through a technology-driven renaissance. But of course, not everyone is invited to join in the banquet, and there's a case for saying that the low-budget end and the art house end and specialty end, in particular, these movies are trapped in the first opening weekend logic, which is more besuited to the blockbuster. That holdovers are getting shorter and shorter, and that the possibility of building up a movie's reputation on slow burn release and word of mouth is more or less vanishing, even when you're dealing with quality-friendly chains like City Screen. TV licenses, I think, just about everywhere, certainly as far as Europe is concerned, in Italy and Spain very markedly, are on the decline. Pay television remains an issue, and more so if you're an independent and unable to package your movies through a studio output deal, those that still survive. There is an issue that's very specific, but not just specific, but very acute for sales agents and international independent packages, which is the number of the rate of defaulting by local distributors on MG payments or negative pickup payments. I represent IFTA in Europe, and I know that the The toll of cases of arbitration has increased twofold for EFTA in the past 2 or 3 years, which is indicative of something rotten in the kingdom of international cinema. So that's my shit list, as I like to call it.
I think we need stronger drugs in our drinks.
But I hope that it frees you up, gentlemen, to look at on the bright side. These are the in baby summary. I think some of the key market indicators against which all of you have to pit your strength and innovative abilities and creativity in picking the right films and backing them up. So.